the weather data and the water and the beer quality data.
So we do have some recommendations, both for Star Hill Brewery and for the students who are taking up our project in the years to come. Our recommendations for Star Hill Brewery are to expand their water quality testing, which they've just recently integrated into their brewing process, to include Beaver Creek Reservoir, because it is a crucial part of the brewing process, and neglect of it is really not a great idea. We would like for them to look into ways of mitigating the effect of weather changes on their product quality. We also suggest that they keep a close eye on both the nitrate content and the gravity of their product, especially the gravity, as this seems to have the highest fluctuation and can potentially affect the alcohol by volume of their product. And something that we personally would like for them to do is to maintain a uniform level of precision throughout their data, because it was something that we observed when we were looking at their fermentation logs. And although it may not affect them in the immediate, if they are ever looking to do research, into the brewing that they've done in the past, it can severely affect your accuracy of your results.
And basically, for the people who want to take over our project, our number one recommendation is to take more samples, because we basically felt that we didn't have enough. And it would be awesome if you could sample over all the seasons and even use our data from the previous seasons. And also to maintain an open communication with the Star Hill liaison, probably it's going to be Robbie, who we communicated with, and also to obtain data that's already existing for Beaver Creek Reservoir. So there has to be there's at least one monitoring station at the reservoir, but it was later on in our research phase when we found out that it was on the impaired waters list. And I know that that data is accessible online somewhere. It was just very, very hard to find and get to. So we kind of ran out of time.
Finally, we have some acknowledgments. We'd like to thank Star Hill Brewery for letting us get literally up in their business. Robbie O'Kane, our Star Hill liaison, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. Dr. Nicole Radslow, our senior project advisor. Dr. Robert Brent, who was our go-to environmental science guy. Fred Coppathorn and W.C. Sheets, who are the environmental lab experts who really helped us with a lot of our water testing.
Those are just some of our references.
Yeah.
So, do you have a theory about what causes nitrates to go up in the spring and summer?
It could just be that the agricultural season changing, so they could be applying more manure, and that makes the nitrate shoot up. So that off the bat, that's the only thing I could think of that would immediately affect it.
What's the relationship between your testing stations and the water intake station? 100 acres is a big area. They could be far apart or close by.
Dock 1 was actually immediately above where they bring in the water from the reservoir to take to the water testing. We made sure that we had one at least close to where they were pulling in the actual water. We chose the locations at the reservoir based on, we wanted accessibility, and also, we wanted to have one closer to the edge so we could get some with high runoff levels, and then one closer to where they were drawing it, because there'd be lower runoff levels where it's deeper.
What does the impaired water list mean? That there's lack of water, that the water levels are lower?
Or, no, not necessarily lower. It's mainly pollutants in the water, that they have a maximum threshold that the EPA sets. So if the pollutants are over those thresholds, it's impaired. So, and the states have to submit a list of all the impaired waters in their state every, I think it's 4 years now. Yes, this is based off the Clean Water Act. That's what put that into place.
So Star Hill does quite a bit to take extra measures to compensate for that?
I don't think neither Crozet nor Star Hill are necessarily working towards bettering Beaver Creek Reservoir.
Yeah.
We're hoping that Crozet is working towards it, but since Beaver Creek Reservoir is technically in Charlottesville, we're not sure if it's within their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Something else that can place things on the impaired waters list is we actually noticed that Beaver Creek Reservoir had reported levels of E. coli. So anything that's outside of what you're expecting to see in the water, if you see it in there, that can also place a body of water on the impaired waters list.
Yeah.
Obviously, they handle the E. coli before anyone drinks it.
Also, Star Hill Brewery takes measures itself from the water it gets in from the water treatment plant. They added in chlorine, for example, to take out some of the bacteria and stuff. And that's necessary for water treatment, but chlorine can have an effect on the taste or quality of beer. So they have like carbon filters and other filters they set up to try and remove some of that before they use it in the brewing process.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Do you have any sense of the financial impact to the company of the water quality, the variability? Do they have to spend a lot of time adjusting, or is it all just sort of routine and
If you
inexpensive?
actually watch the following presentation by the other team that was observing Star Hill's data, they may be able to tell you a little bit more about that, because they did a little bit more on the variation of their beer quality and, you know, percent loss by volume and stuff like that. We didn't actually look into the finances, but as far as I know, they don't necessarily take something off of production just because the pH level is a little higher than they expected. There's going to be some variation, as it is a craft brewery. You know, it's not like Anheuser-Busch, which is huge and everything's perfected by now. Well, yeah.
What time of the year is the beer going to be best?
Spring and summer.
Spring and
Right
summer.
now is just when we actually observed this the other day. We're like, well, it's about time we try some more, make sure it's tasting better. So we went to Capitol Ale House and we each got a different beer. What did you get? You got the Dark Star Stout.
Yeah.
You got Dark Star Stout.
Oh, they were out of
and the Pilsner. Mandy got the Love and I got Northern Lights. And we noticed a significant drop in the metallic taste, which is dramatic.
Yeah.
So I remember when we first picked up this project, there was a bunch of the gift on sale and we bought it and it was, you know, winter season. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It was like drinking copper. It was miserable. And they've improved it. They've improved their processes since then. So it wasn't quite as dramatic on the brews that we had this winter, but
yeah.
it's definitely better now. Drink Star Hill now. Now's the time. Well, thank you guys. And if you have any other questions, feel free to come up to us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, okay. She wants to make it on the screen. She wants a picture.